Welcome to the Leader's Mic, where bold voices shape better leadership. I am your host, Letitia. If you're hungry to grow, lead with purpose, and level up your impact, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button because every week I'm bringing you real talk, practical insights, and the leadership boost you didn't know you needed. Let's get into it. Today, we're kicking off season 2 with a topic that everyone faces, but few people master: feedback. Most of us settle for vague reviews like, "You're doing fine," but vague doesn't fuel your career. This episode is about how to ask for feedback that's real, useful, and sets you up for the review that you deserve. And to get us started, I want to take you back to one of my first experiences with feedback because it really shaped the way I think about this topic today. One of my very first jobs was in college. I remember standing on stage in front of nearly 100 students giving a presentation about healthy habits. When it was over, I did what I was taught to do. I was taught to ask for feedback. And the way I was taught to ask for feedback was to ask, "How did I do?" So I walked up to my colleague and I asked. The response, "You did great." That was it. No other words, no specifics, and honestly, I didn't ask any other questions to pull out more. So I walked away believing I was a strong presenter. Fast forward to another role where I had to give a presentation and I went in with full confidence. I mean, you cannot tell me I cannot give a presentation. I've been told I did great, so why would I think otherwise? This time, the feedback wasn't the same. When I asked, "How did I do?" I was told, number one, I talked too fast, and number two, I used too many hand and arm gestures. I was shocked. I had been expecting to hear the same old, "You did great." Instead, I finally got real feedback. And that moment changed me. I was used to getting feedback on my intellectual skills, my grades, test scores, academic work, but not on my performance. That was the first time I realized there's a whole other layer of growth we miss when we don't ask better questions. And the truth is, that moment wasn't just about me. It's about all of us. Because so often the difference between staying stuck and leveling up comes down to the quality of feedback we ask for and receive. So let's zoom out and talk about why this matters. That experience stuck with me because it highlights what so many of us go through in the workplace. We want feedback that helps us grow. We want to know where we stand, what we can improve, and how to position ourselves for the next opportunity. But often, what we get is vague reassurance or nothing at all. Let's be real. Vague feedback feels safe in the moment, but it leaves us with more questions than answers. Think about your last review. Did you walk away with clarity, or did you walk away with a pat on the back and a list of generic strengths? And here's something worth mentioning. Research from Gallup shows that employees who receive regular, meaningful feedback are 3.5 times more likely to be engaged at work. Not just present, but engaged. And yet more than half employees say that feedback that they receive isn't actually useful. So there's a gap here, and that gap matters. And I'll be honest, as a leader myself, I've struggled with this too. Giving strong feedback, specific feedback to my team, is something I'm still growing in. I've had open conversations with my team though, and I let them know that my goal is to coach them up and level them up by giving them real, honest, open feedback. There are so many opportunities where we can provide feedback, and when growth areas are obvious, it's so much easier for me to jump in and help a leader develop. But then there's those subtle skills, the ones that are not used every day or the moments I don't always see where further coaching is needed. And I'm not able to provide it because I don't see it. And maybe you've also felt this tension. On one side, wanting to have clear direction for yourself, and then on the other side, trying to figure out how to give this clear and confident feedback to others. That's what makes this conversation so important. Because if you've ever felt frustrated by vague reviews or hesitant to ask for feedback because you're not sure how to land, you're not alone. This isn't just about getting feedback. It's about building a culture in your own career and with your teams where feedback is seen as fuel for growth, not something to fear. And that's exactly why we need a strategy. Because once you shift your mindset and see feedback as fuel, the next step is knowing how to actually get it in a way that moves you forward. So let's break it down into 5 practical steps you can start using today. All right. So how do you actually do it? How do you ask for feedback in a way that earns respect and gives you clarity? Here are 5 practical steps you can start using right now. Step 1, reframe feedback. Before you ever ask for it, you have to shift your mindset. Feedback is not a threat, it's information. It's not a label on your worth. It's an insight into how you're showing up in a specific moment. Leaders who rise the fastest aren't the ones who avoid feedback. They're the ones who collect it and use it as fuel. One of the best mindset shifts is this. Stop asking, what does this say about me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? Step 2, ask better questions. If you're not driving, grab a sheet of paper and jot these down, because this is where most people miss the mark. Instead of asking, how am I doing, which only invites vague answers, here are some better options. Number 1, what's one thing I could do to make your job easier? Number 2, where do you see the biggest opportunity for me to grow in the next 90 days? Number 3, if you had to rate my communication on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I? And what would get me to a 10? These kinds of questions guide your manager, your peers, or even your team members to give you feedback that's actionable, not abstract. So sit down, think about some in-depth questions that can help fuel this for you to have better reviews. And hey, if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you've got a colleague who's stressing about their upcoming review, send this episode their way. You'll both walk into those conversations more prepared. All right, let's keep going, because asking good questions is just the start. The next piece is about building a rhythm of feedback so it becomes part of how you lead, not just something you wait on once a year. Step 3, create rhythm. Don't wait for the annual review. Build a rhythm of feedback, monthly check-ins, post-project debriefs, even quick informal chats. It doesn't have to be formal every time. The point is to normalize feedback so it's not just a once-a-year event, but an ongoing part of how you lead and grow. Step 4, receive feedback well. This one is so important. Say thank you. Don't get defensive. If something's unclear, ask follow-up questions. Show that you value their input, even if it stings a little. When people see that you can handle feedback well, they're more likely to keep giving it to you. Step 5, turn it into action. Feedback only matters if you do something with it. Circle back later and say something like this. Hey, you mentioned I should work on slowing down when I present. I tried it in our last meeting. Did you notice a difference? That right there shows accountability and growth, and it builds trust with the people giving you feedback. And when you put all of these steps into practice, here's the bigger picture. Feedback stops being scary. It starts becoming your secret weapon. Here's your mic'd up moment. Asking for feedback doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look like a leader who's serious about growth. Vague reviews won't build your future. The right question will. And that's your takeaway. Short, simple, but powerful. Now I want to hear from you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received, and how did it change you? Share your answer in the comments or DM me on Instagram at The Leader's Mic. I'd love to feature some of your stories in future episodes. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with a colleague who's preparing for their own review. And don't forget, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next in season 2. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep leading. This is The Leader's Mic, where bold voices shape better leadership.